Hi, I'm Dr. Masuma Rasheed. Welcome to Counseling Yoga. We have really awesome demos today. Ryan Reinbrandt and Farhan Kabani, much gratitude to you for joining us today. So today what we'll do is we'll go ahead and learn a lot about how the mind and the body connect, because our issues are in our tissues, and we can certainly talk about issues a lot. It's necessary to do so, or I wouldn't have a job, right? But we have to also incorporate the body. It's necessary to talk, but it's not sufficient. We have to incorporate the understanding of how to release trauma and tension through the body as well. So with that said, we'll go ahead and begin. On a deep inhale, we'll go ahead and take a breath in through the nostrils. And on the exhale, slowly release. Now, notice how that breath came up through the lungs and out through the nostrils. Be very mindful of that, how that worked. Now what you're gonna do is really take your tailbone and sink it into the earth. You're gonna take the crown of the head at the same time, and you're gonna pull it really high up to the sky. And so at the same time, you're going really low and really high. Now notice your pelvis. So tuck that pelvis in, get that solar plexus really tense, shoulders back and down, heart is open, the neck is elongated, and the gaze is about just a foot or two in front of you. Now keep this stance going. As you inhale this time, notice the difference. So we'll inhale together, and then slowly exhale, not giving it away all at once. Now, at home, you're probably wondering, what's the difference between the two? And I'll ask you, how did you feel the first time you breathed and the second time? The second time, we minimize a lot more barriers in our air passageway so that oxygen could get up to the brain. We could focus more, concentrate more, and have more energy when oxygen reaches our brain to the full potential. So what happens is when we do this, when we sit like this, we're minimizing obstructions. So we're minimizing the barriers, obstructions that are in our way. However, when we do this, that's when we're minimizing obstructions and barriers in the way. When we open the heart up, when we let the passage, the oxygen go through, just like in life, how many things are you putting in your own way, in your own life pathway? Barriers, obstructions that come in. How can you eliminate them? You can only do so much, and the rest you surrender to. So right now, we'll continue to keep this stance going, because the more that we can take into our own hands, the more we feel empowered. So continue to breathe now, only this time what you're gonna do when you inhale, you're gonna expand the belly. So on the inhale, expand the belly like you're blowing a balloon up. And on the exhale, slowly bring the belly back to neutral. This is called a diaphragmic breath. As you continue to go through the course of this session, you'll use a diaphragmic breath to guide you. So with that said, we'll go ahead and begin. Taking a deep inhale through the nostrils, expanding the belly at the same time, and then taking an exhale. And I'll begin today with the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference today, right now in this moment. So the hardest thing sometimes to do is know when to keep going and when to back off. In this practice, the breath will guide you. The breath is linked to your intuition, and throughout our time on this earth, our intuition gets lost. We get disconnected from it. Children and animals, they feel intuition the most, right? They have the heightened intuition. That's because they feel more and they think less. So therefore, throughout our journey, throughout life, we hear messages through people, through ourselves, through the culture, through society, that tells us certain things and minimizes that voice of our intuition. It's not gone, it's there, so let's connect to it. During our practice, we'll listen to the serenity prayer of how many things can you control and how many things to surrender. So continue to breathe at your own pace as I talk. At all during the practice today, your breath feels constricted or choppy or doesn't feel so much like it does right now, this is your baseline. If it doesn't feel like this, then try to get it there. Try to get it as fluid as it is right now. If it's still not fluid and if it's still not being able to keep that together, then you back off. you modify. That means that your breath will guide you, nothing else. Not me, not your mind, not your ego, your breath and your breath alone. So with the next breath on the inhale, we'll raise the arms out and up to the sky. Again, the tailbone is so tightly firmed into the earth as the crown of the head goes so high up to the sky. Soften those shoulders, maybe even turn the pinkies in together to help soften. Take another deep inhale. And on the exhale, slowly plant your right hand behind you, lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, plant the left hand on the right knee. Take another deep inhale, lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, slowly twist over. Now notice here when you're twisting, as you see the demos do, trying to keep your hips squared and only taking your upper body with you. So even try to understand how the hips almost signify our roots, our ground, what grounds us in life, what stabilizes us in life. Whatever that is, don't change it, don't move it, don't take it with you. Leave it there, leave it stable, and only take what you need through the twists and turns. And on the next breath, we'll come back to inhale, raising the arms out and up. And on the exhale, we'll bring the left hand down, right hand on top of left knee. Inhale, spine long, and exhale, slowly twist all the way over. Again here, noticing the hips are directly in front of you, only taking what you need with you. Through the twists and turns in life, sometimes what do? We take our roots, we uproot them, and we take them with us. Through the twists and turns, only take what you need with you, and leave your roots. If you're wondering what your roots are, what a great place to find them. What grounds us, what stabilizes us in life, constantly changes, right? And so monitoring what that is for you as you engage in your practice. And on the next breath, we'll come back to center, bringing the arms out and up again. And on the exhale, we'll plant the hands in front of us and come into all fours. A tabletop position. Look down and see that your wrists are right underneath your shoulders. Your knees are about hip width apart. Your fingers are spread out. And you'll take a deep inhale, bring the crown of the head and tailbone high up to the sky. And on the exhale, we'll round the back and push away from the mat. Continue at your own speed now as I continue to talk. Every time you breathe in, every time you breathe out, try your best not to pause through the breaths. Try your best to acknowledge the impermanence of life as well. Every time we take things in, if we hold on to the breath, if we hold on to that inhale, we won't physically survive, right? So if we let it go and surrender to the waves that come in, just like in life, if we hold on to anything, if we hold on to emotions, we won't survive. So right here we practice things coming into our life, and without a pause, really try to let them go. And then feel as though you can monitor what do you want to hold? Do you want to hold the inhales? Do you want to hold the exhales? Is it harder to let go of the inhales, or is it harder to let go of the exhales? Which one is more difficult? On the next breath, we'll come back to center. Curl the toes on the inhale. And we'll slowly exhale, bringing the tailbone high to the sky. And here we'll just pay attention to alignment as well. And so right now, what Ryan's doing is he's going to spread his fingers apart. He's going to almost push so hard into the earth that he sees Farhan almost underneath his shoulders. Raising the tailbone high on the inhale, and then at the same time planting the heels into the earth. And here acknowledge, at home right now, what are you doing with your hands? Are you planting them so hard into the earth? Are you almost squeezing into the earth for safety? Let go. Let go and put weight more into your knuckles. It's a difficult practice. I do it all the time. To practice every day on it is not to put weight on the wrist. When we put weight into the wrist, when we put weight into the knuckles, when we put weight almost trying to grab the earth, we're asking the earth to save us. Earthly things, earthly belongings, earthly people, they won't save you. And so right now, Understand that the earth is there to support you, but it's not there to save you, just like everything else on this earth. So acknowledge here, use your inner muscles to really gain strength instead of grabbing onto something to rescue during a conflict or a challenging pose. We'll take one more breath here. And on the next exhale, we'll go ahead and crouch and then step or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, arms out and up. Really reach up to the sky. Now continue to watch the demos. As you plant your feet into the earth, you're going to take the four corners of the feet and plant them so hard in. Tailbone tucked in, engage the inner thighs, shoulders are back and down, heart is up to the sky. And you're taking your hands in the crown of the head and lifting them so high up. This is a whole lot different. We all look the same actually, but we feel different inside. Doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. It's all mechanics. It's not just a pose, it's just a posture. It's the inside what matters, the feeling you feel. Take one more breath inside, lengthen up, and on the exhale, slowly swan dive forward. We'll inhale halfway up for space, flat back, and exhale, plant the hands and jump or step to the back of the mat. Now let's go ahead and start with the knees placed onto the ground, onto the floor. This is a great modification to do. You'll grow stronger, faster if you modify. Remember, listen to your breath, not the ego, not me, not anything else. So as you plant here, again, remember not to almost squeeze into the earth or clench into the earth, but use your knuckles, push away from the mat. Now, listening to your breath, is it fluid? If it's fluid, and only if it's fluid, you'll go ahead and raise your knees up off the floor into an upper push-up position. Inhale, shift forward, and then exhale, descend down 90 degrees, tucking the elbows in. Swim the heart forward on the inhale. The heart. That darn heart, right? It's a little bit difficult to open up. So here we practice it. We practice it every moment because every moment is different. So push into the earth, shoulders back and down, squeeze the glutes, and breathe. Your gaze is about a foot in front of you. On the next breath, inhaling, tuck the toes, and exhale, tailbone high to the sky again. Now let's walk it out. Bend one knee, straighten the other, then bend the other knee, straighten. See how different you feel from side to side, acknowledging that every side is different, every moment is different. And on the next breath, we'll come back to center. And inhale, and exhale. Inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. All the while, you're going to square the hips and square the shoulders. That's the roots, right? Remembering the roots ground us. So how do we square them and only lift up what we need? Use the right glute to lift you up. That's what's going to help. Take another inhale, lift up maybe just an inch higher. Flex that right foot so hard like you're going to put a footprint on the back wall. And on the exhale, lunge the right foot forward. Take a deep inhale, lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, slowly lengthen out the right leg. All the while you're on the ball of the left foot. Take a deep inhale here as you flatten the back. And exhale, fold. Now, as you probably notice, we may all be in different places to feel. I know for me, I'm really tight. So right now in this moment, I'm breathing through it and I'm feeling sensation. We could easily blow off this pose and just look like we're feeling. And we could easily blow off this pose and look like we're feeling. However, just the mechanics of life, right? What do you feel behind the pose? What do you feel behind a posture? So right now, we may all look different to be able to feel the same thing. That's the definition of empathy, actually, is that we all go through different experiences, but we feel the same. So right now, we'll engage in this empathy, and empathy is what helps us connect. So we're all in this together, right now, right here. On the next breath, we'll go ahead and bend the right knee. Pivot the left foot down, and look down and see that your right heel is in line with the left arch of your foot, and that the right knee is directly above the right ankle. Once you set that up, remembering here that when we go through life, we set up our roots and our ground and our stability, and then we go into an experience. Inhale, rise up and almost windmill the hands, left arm back, right arm forward. And soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. What helps us to soften the jaw is to put the tongue behind the front 2 teeth. Whew, and then it softens. So right here in the Warrior 2 pose, it's just a pose. I called it that, but it's just a name, right? What's in a pose? What's in a posture? It's all just the mechanics of it, the mechanics of life. And so right now, the knee is directly above the ankle again. Right ankle is in line with the left arch. Now, are you gripping into the earth? Try to wiggle the toes around. When you grip into the earth again, we acknowledge here that what did we learn the last experience? When we change experiences, we often forget some of the tools that we've learned. So we practice that. As you come into a different experience, remember, unattachment to the earth, acknowledging here that when we almost clench the earth, we're using our ligaments and tendons to gain strength. Think about when you're in a conflict or a challenge in life. What do you grab onto first? What's the first thing that you do to try to help yourself feel better? Whatever that is, it's probably impermanent. And so right now, what we do is unclench the earth and use the heels. The heels will be a whole lot more difficult, but it's going to use the inner muscles, and eventually over time, you're going to get stronger. So finding out what works for you, not grabbing onto something or someone to save you, to make you feel better, but really the inner strength that will come within the heel, going stronger every day by using the kind of not the easier way out. Taking deep inhales here. Now notice here, you're putting a lot of weight into your right leg, probably. So let's go ahead and engage the inner thighs together. Squeeze them so hard that you're putting more weight into the left leg. Now your thighs might getting a little bit, they're probably burning a little, right? So at any time you need to go into child's pose, that's there for you. However, it's also important to know that it's not all or nothing, right? We're not in this pose or do all these poses and postures to our ultimate and then go straight into child's pose. What we do is we modify. Modifications are there for a reason. Putting your left leg down, and if any of you want to join me, you can. This is a great modification to do because it's not all or nothing. Why not take modifications? Why not take modifications in life, whether doing the extreme, right? We're very much a society of extremes. On the next breath, wherever you're at, and you can stay there if you like, we'll take the right hand, inhale up, left hand can go behind the back or slide it down the left leg. Inhaling with that arm straight up, and on the exhale, we slowly bring it back to the wall. All the while, keeping the right knee bent straight ahead, keeping the left glute squeezed, and that right arm, try to get it almost to get straight and long. Now here, what are we trying to do? It's not about trying to get somewhere, right? We're always trying to get somewhere, get to a destination, get to the ending point. Many of my clients talk about how they just want to get to the end. But what is the end? There is really no end. It's not called yoga destination, right? Or yoga goal. It's called yoga practice. Life is a journey, just like this practice right here. So instead of trying to reach towards something, how about you just enjoy where you're at? And where you're at is sensation. If you're feeling, you're exactly where you need to be. Happiness, that conditional happiness, will be happy when, will be happy if. If you try to reach for that, you'll miss the whole point. So right now, right here, breathe through this moment, and happiness right now is embracing whatever happens next. And on the next inhale, we'll go ahead and come back to center. And on the exhale, we'll bring the right elbow inside the right knee, left arm up to the sky. And breathe. Now notice here, are you putting more weight into your right leg again? Again, as we shift and turn in experiences in life, do we then forget what we learned, right? Trying to engage the left leg as well. So squeeze the inner thighs together again, flex the left glute, Guys don't know what left glutes are. They don't know what glutes are sometimes. So we as girls do. So squeeze that thing that's back there, and that'll help you stay stable. On the next breath, we'll go ahead and come back up. Soften the shoulders, soften the jaw, and windmill the hands down to the floor. Come to the ball of the left foot, plant the hands down, and bring the right foot all the way back into a downward with the right leg up. Take a deep inhale here. Flex that right foot so hard, like you're going to put a footprint on the back wall. And then on the next inhale, we're going to raise the leg just a little higher. And on the exhale, we're going to bring the right knee to the right elbow in upper push-up position. On the inhale, we're going to bring the right knee back into an upper push-up position, but leaving the right knee up. And on the exhale, we're going to come into a one-legged down dog. A moving meditation, that's what we'll call this. So on the inhale, we'll lift the right leg up again, and exhale, come down with right knee to right elbow. And inhale, upper push-up position. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. How about one more time? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Squaring the hips and squaring the shoulders, remembering here that you're going through a walking meditation. What do you take with you? What tools do you continue to keep? Are you breathing fluidly? If you're not, back off. Remembering the breath will guide you. And on the next breath, we'll go ahead and bring the right foot down to meet the left and walk it out. Bend one knee, straighten the other. See how different you already feel from side to side. It doesn't take long to change. Actually, Oliver Wendell Holmes said, "A mind that is stretched with a new experience will never go back to its old dimensions." So right now, in this moment, you are changing. We are not the same as we were 5 seconds ago. We're not the same as we were just 10 seconds ago. Every moment changes. And so right now, notice the difference between your right side and your left side. And breathe through it. Doesn't take long to change, right? It just takes focus, concentration, and making the effort. On the next breath, we'll go ahead and remember that karma is a you-know-what. So we got to do to the left side what we do to the right. So on the next inhale, we'll bring the left foot up to the sky, squaring the hips, squaring the shoulders, putting a footprint with that left leg, almost like you're going to put a footprint on the back wall. Lifting it up with your glutes, unclenching the earth. And on the inhale, just maybe an inch higher. And exhale, lunge it through between your hands. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, go ahead and lengthen out that left leg. Stay in the ball of your right foot. And breathe. Again here, we all may look different, right? To reach the same feeling. Is that sometimes you might look at the person next to you, or you might observe others in your world and think, well, how come they can do that and I can't? Or how come I can and they can't? It's that whole argument with reality, right? And so every time we engage in that, we are wasting energy. And I'm not saying that it's easy not to do that, right? It's difficult. Again, it's a practice. So every moment here, you practice being in this place, asking yourself, where am I? Here. What time is it? Now. Here and now. Gestalt is a theorist that talks a lot about the here and now, and he talks a lot about the present moment and the power of this moment being the only reality there is. So if this is the only reality there is, then absorb it. Pay attention to it, because the rest of it, all the thoughts, all the past, all the things that we think, there's just a story we tell ourselves. So why not just live in this moment? And on the next breath, we'll go ahead and bend the left knee, pivot the right foot down, and again, we'll set it up here, is looking down and seeing that your left heel is in line with the left arch and that your left knee is directly above the ankle. And on the next inhale, we'll windmill the hands over into warrior two position. Again, I use the name, it's just a label, it's just a posture, a pose. It is what it is for you. So again, how much weight are you putting on your left leg versus your right? Sometimes in life, what we do is we put all our eggs into one basket, all our energy into one thing. However, there are lots of other things around us, maybe that are hidden behind us, that are resources to use. Trying not to put all your eggs in one basket, trying not to put all your energy into the resource that you see available to you. Learn that there are others there, use them. So right now, engage the inner thighs together, squeeze them, squeeze that right glute, and notice how much energy shifts into the right leg as well. It's there for you to use it. If we put all our energy into this thing in front of us, we're gonna wear it out. And then we're gonna wonder what else we can do, right? So don't wear this out. Try to allocate your resources. Try to allocate your feelings, not fixating on one thing. Engage those inner glutes again, and now actually put weight on your outer edge of the right foot, lifting the right arch up to the sky. You'll feel a strong sensation on your right thigh. That's awesome, because that means you're feeling something. As long as we're feeling, we're exactly where we need to be. Those darn feelings, right? Now, if you're shaking, that's great. Shakiness right now means your body's asking for strength. However, listen to your breath. If your breath is telling you, right now in this moment, if your breath is choppy or constricted, try to get it fluid. If it's not, what's stopping you from bringing that right knee down? Is it all the cameras around us? Is it the ego saying, a lot of people are going to see this, so let's go ahead and stay? Or can we go ahead and listen to our breath? Listen to what is guiding you. And then remembering here, how often do we not listen to it? We often get upset when people don't listen to us, right? We often get upset when people don't hear us. Well, what about the relationship with ourselves? When do we listen to ourselves? And when do we honor ourselves? On the next breath, bring the left arm up to the sky. Inhale, and exhale over. All the while, keeping the left knee bent, unclenching the earth. Again, we've changed positions now, right? We've changed experiences. Do you then go back to clenching things? We do that. We have patterns in life. That's what happens. However, we break patterns here. So unclench, use the left glute, engage the inner thighs, remembering all these things don't change just because your experience changes. And then lengthen that left arm and try to pull it back. And notice here what your hips are doing. We keep a lot of baggage, we keep a lot of feelings in our hips. So when we try to get somewhere, we're often trying to escape our feelings or avoid them. So feel them here and trying to get somewhere. Just be here, right now in this moment. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, left shoulder inside left knee, right arm up to the sky. Now here what you want to do is pull your left arm so far down that you're then pulling the right arm so high up, so you're feeling that stretch right here. We do lots of things in life to get high and low, right? So we're going to do it the natural way right now. Is we're going to go really, really low, unclench, squeeze the inner thighs together, go so high that your heart then is open to the sky. The heart, as it's open, is that if it's open, things can come in and things can come out, right? Sometimes we close our heart and we expect that, we can still give, but we don't want to receive right now. Actually, it can't give and receive if it's closed. It goes both ways. So on the next breath, we'll go ahead and rise up and windmill the hands down. Plant the hands down, come the ball of the right foot, lift the left leg up and into a down dog, one-legged down dog. Almost act like you're going to put a footprint on the back wall, Look at your partner underneath your arms. Are we still engaging in all the alignment? Our roots grounded, lifting that leg just a little higher with the glutes, using the glutes to lift you. And on the inhale, we're going to breathe in, and on the exhale, we're going to bring the left knee to the left elbow in an upper push-up position. Inhale, bring the leg back. Exhale, up. Inhale. Exhale. Left knee, left elbow. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And how about we just do one more? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then give it all you got. Raise that left leg so high up using the glutes only. And bring it down to meet the right. And walk it out. Now continue to walk it out, but listen to your breath. If you need to go to child's pose, go for it. What's stopping you? Each moment that you go through this pose or posture, this mat, it's a microcosm of the world and how you deal with things. And so right now, as the moving meditation was occurring, you'll notice I wasn't able to talk as much except for labeling what to do with the breath. That's the power of now. If that we're thinking anything, if we're able to really talk and and do things on the mat, then we could take it farther. We could take it a little deeper so that we can truly be in the present moment. A mindful meditation. So during that practice right now that we were doing a moving meditation, right? And so how easy was it to stay in the present, or how hard was it? Monitor what that was for you. And notice what works for you and what doesn't. Okay, so on the next breath, we'll go ahead, bend the knees, and exhale, jump or step to the front of the mat. Inhale, arms out and up. Bringing the palms together, and slowly exhale, descending them to the heart. Taking the shoulders up on the inhale, and exhale. Inhale up, and exhale, and then go at your own pace. And so what we're doing now is the energy point of the throat, the neck. A lot of times when we have issues or when we're talking to someone, we feel a lump in our throat, right? I'm sure I'm not alone when I say that. So what's going on is there's so much energy focused here when there are secrets or mixed messages. Our society's filled with mixed messages, and it's confusing, and we don't know how to process that out verbally. And so right then we feel tension here, so we need it out right now. As we need it out, energy is able to release a little bit. So what happens is sometimes when someone asks you, how do you feel? Well, sometimes you don't know, but your body knows. So checking in with the body and allowing it to release energy that sometimes you don't even know why it's there. A lot of times my clients come into my office and expecting them to answer, how do you feel, is probably a high expectation, because it's not just identifying the feeling. It's about understanding what it means. What is it there for? Sometimes we don't even know how to start. So the body lets you start, actually, is the body lets you understand what the mind doesn't sometimes. And so now that we've done a great little knead to our issues and our tissues with the shoulders, we'll go ahead and bring the arms out and up, palms back to center, descending to the heart as we go slowly into a chair pose, bringing the knees, squatting down. Now here is where you want to look and see that the tailbone is squatted, and yet you're not trying to do a sway back, but your pelvis is tucked in, and that you're on the heels. Now, if any time your breath is choppy or constricted, you take a break. That's what we do. That's what we're here for. And so don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody else. Listen to your breath. In another inhale, we're going to go ahead and lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, just sink a little bit deeper. On the inhale, one more time. And this time when we exhale, we're going to take the right elbow and we're going to turn it over onto the left thigh. Now look down and see that your knees are aligned. And if they're not, then let's go ahead and try to bring the right knee forward and the left knee back. If you can't come up, it's okay. And continue to breathe. Are you clenching the earth now? Or if you're clenching the earth, go ahead and unclench. Breathe through the twists and turns, right, in life. This is a twist. This is a hard one. So what you're going to do is press so hard into the left hand that you open up the heart. And breathe. On the inhale, how about this time we take both corners of the mouth and bring them up to the sky. I learned that from a good friend. Smile. These are the twists and turns in life. Can you smile through them? Smiling through them won't make it go away. Breathing won't make it go away, but I guarantee you it'll make it more manageable to get through. You'll survive. So on the next breath, we'll come back to center and come a little deeper and then come out of it. Take another deep inhale, roll the shoulders up and down, and then continue at your own pace. Now, oftentimes in life, when we go through a difficult time, we think, whew, I don't have to go through that again. But sometimes we do. And sometimes we do, even if we don't want to. And sometimes we do, even if we thought we'd never have to again. So with that said, we'll come back, inhaling arms out and up, palms together, and then slowly descend back down. We're here again. What did you learn last time that will help you this time? Did you learn just to surrender to it? Because that's a big lesson. So right now, right here, we'll just surrender. Breathing in, acknowledging this is the moment only. What can we control and what can't we? We can control the breath. We can control the breath. We can control how we place our weight. We can control pelvis tucked in. We can control our stance and how much we connect with the stability in this world. Other than that, we surrender. So on the next breath, we'll go ahead, lengthen the spine, and exhale, bringing the left elbow to the right thigh. And then looking down and seeing that your knees are aligned. Taking the toes and wiggling them, acknowledging here again, the twists and turns, we attach. Sometimes attachment doesn't always mean attaching to things or people. It means attaching to detachment. You know, sometimes we don't want to attach to anything. We don't want to commit to anything. That's actually a form of attachment as well. We're attached to not attaching. So when you're trying to attempt this whole unattachment, find balance with it. One more breath here. Maybe we smile again through it. And on the exhale, come back to center. Breathe, taking one deep breath here. The breath will get you through it. And exhale. And take a deep inhale, roll the shoulders up and back. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Flat back. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, plant the hands and jump or step to the back of the mat into upper push-up position. And again, what's stopping you from bringing the knees down? What's stopping you from modifying? Tuck the pelvis in. Wrists are right underneath the shoulders. Take a deep inhale, shift forward, and we're going to exhale to 90 degrees, but we're going to stay here. But listen to your breath and your breath only. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! And open up the heart. How difficult it is right now to open up the heart after a challenging experience. It's not easy. So what we do is we push into the earth, we roll the shoulders back and down, and we breathe. Going through a conflict and challenge, necessarily, it actually creates more barriers for us to work on other things in our life. Now, that's completely understandable, especially the heart. The heart closes up. And so right now we practice opening up after a difficult challenge or conflict. Every time we practice that, it's probably not going to be easy each time either. But that's why we practice. And on the next breath, we'll curl the toes and exhale, tailbone high to the sky. And walk it out. Bend one knee, straighten the other. Again, see how different you feel from side to side. It does not take long to change. On the next breath, we'll go ahead and take the right leg and lift it up to the sky. We've been here before. Flex the right foot so hard, square the shoulders, square the hips. Lifting the right leg with the right glute, that's what's going to help you. Sometimes we don't realize resources are there to help us, and we overcompensate by using other things. Try not to overcompensate, just trying to get to a destination, but get there how you're supposed to get there. And on the next breath, we'll lunge the right foot forward. Stay on the ball of the left foot. On the inhale, we rise up. Ooh. And balance here, right? So how does balance occur for you? How does balance work in your life? Right now, we practice it. So here, you'll again, alignment. Your right knee will be above your right ankle. And if you need to take your left knee down, go for it. It takes more compassion and more love for yourself to go ahead and modify and understand where you need to be, no matter who or what tells you. Take deep breaths here. And notice for you that you're going to be almost like a railroad track, not necessarily a balancing beam. Take one deep inhale and pay attention to your hips. So I know for me, you probably notice that, they go like this. So what I'm going to do is take my hands on my hips and rotate the left hip up, right hip down. Patterns. I know in my life, I have a lot of patterns that necessarily aren't healthy for me, but because I'm so familiar to them, they feel right. But they're not good for my alignment. They're not good for my body. And over time, I'm messing with that. And so motor visual skills help to change patterns in the brain. That's why journaling helps. So motor meaning hands, visual meaning I'm seeing them, and using them to change patterns. So right knee in front, changing a pattern. This is by no means more comfortable for me. However, I have to feel uncomfortable to grow. When's the last time you felt comfortable and grew at the same time? Maybe not so much, right? So on the inhale, raise the arms up, flex that left glute, and on the exhale, bring the right arm back, left arm forward. Now I notice right away my hips, do this again. So every moment trying to remember my patterns, turning insight into action. It doesn't mean that every time I have a pattern, I know about it, right? Sometimes we're unaware of our patterns. So we figure out patterns here. I have found more patterns probably on the mat than off the mat. So use it here. What works here or what doesn't work here, because it will also not work or work outside the mat and in your world. And on the next one, we'll take the left arm, up and back. And what helps it balance? Is it breathing? Is it paying attention? Is it squeezing that damn glute? Squeeze it, lift up, lift the heart to the sky like a string is pulling your chest open. And exhale, come back to center. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, bring the left hand down, right arm up. Now, almost try to touch your left elbow to your left knee. Now, I know for me, I'm putting a lot of weight actually on my left hand. So our core, our power, our self-esteem, our identity is located in the solar plexus. We could get through this whole practice and not use the core. I know I've done that. I've said, well, I do yoga a lot. How come my core doesn't really feel a lot more strong? That's because I overcompensate. And just like in life, I overcompensate in other areas and avoiding the power, identity, and self-esteem in the core. So right now, how much weight are you placing on the left hand? Maybe, just maybe, if the breath allows, but if the breath doesn't, honor it. You lift up the left hand onto the fingertips. All of a sudden, you feel the core more engaged. All of a sudden, we say, that's what it's supposed to feel like. When we navigate through this earth, how much of us are using our power and self-esteem and our identity to get through it or to engage in a challenge or conflict? Or do we just look like we're doing what we're supposed to? So here, take the risk. Engage in the core. Maybe even lift up the left hand. Or you don't. Honor where you're at. And go ahead, take a deep inhale, lengthen that right arm up as you lower the left hand down. And then go ahead, windmill the right hand over. Place weight into the right. And actually what we'll do is, let's go ahead and come back up. Why not, right? It's always fun to come right back where you started, especially if it's challenging. Take a deep inhale here. Look down at your left arm, your left hand. Place weight into the knuckles, and then slowly lift up your right foot and bring it back. Now look down and see that your left wrist is directly over your left shoulder. And if you're shaking, great. That's your body's way of asking for strength. If you're breathing, if you're not breathing, your body's saying, let me go. So, taking deep breaths here. A great modification is putting your left knee down, which more than welcome to do if the breath allows. If your breath is fluid, and only if it's fluid, you might even raise that right leg up, flexing the right foot. Taking a deep breath, or bring the right arm over your head into the front. Taking one more inhale, lifting the hips so high. And on the exhale, we lower the left hand and come into an upper push-up position. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, descend down 90 degrees. Inhale, swim the heart forward. And enjoy. Again, how difficult is it to open up the heart after a challenge? I'm not just speaking for myself, but it's really difficult. So right now, again, we open it up and we practice. And if you don't feel like it, don't do it. But honor your breath. Maybe push yourself just a little harder. And maybe off the mat, that'll happen as well. And smile. If we can't control the things in life, we can control smiling. Inhale, curl the toes, and exhale, tailbone high to the sky. And then walk it out. Actually, I take that back about controlling smiling. I actually had found out something earlier this week that was really difficult. And I physiologically could not get myself to smile. And I thought in my head, the ups and downs, and you smile through the downs, and no, actually I couldn't. And so physically, my body didn't allow me to. So sometimes when that happens is how often do we walk around on this earth and with our chest open to the sky and exclaim, I'm hurt, I'm sad. No, we don't do that, right? Our body has a language. And anytime you want to come to child's pose, you're more than welcome. Our body has this language. And so when the body feels something, it's hard to also resist that. Feel it so you can free it. Doesn't mean avoid it or suppress it. It means in that moment, I wasn't able to smile. I felt it, I processed it, and in the morning, I could smile. So let yourself be where you're at. And it seems that we're at child's pose. And breathe here. So continue to breathe in child's pose, that's fine. Take deep inhales and inhale through the nostrils and expand the belly onto the thighs. So here we acknowledge that we might be in a resting pose, but we're still active. We're still actively engaged in all the tools that we've learned. Because oftentimes when we go through a difficult challenge or a conflict, what do? We use all the tools, we use everything, our resources, and then when things are calm, we forget about all of them. Right now, don't forget. Keep them, maintain them, make it a part of your life. So right now, continue to do the diaphragmatic breath, breathing in through the nostrils, expanding the belly onto the thighs. And on the exhale, just set something free. Even if it doesn't happen, imagine it happening. That's the power of visualizations. We tap into the right side of the brain that allows us to trigger change. Just imagine it happening. Every time that we do that in this resting pose, the challenges will come again, right? And then all of a sudden, those tools and those resources aren't so foreign to you. So use them now so you can better use them later. Taking one more inhale. And then acknowledging that impermanence, right? The highs have an end and the lows have an end. So right now in our resting pose, we will end and come up and deal with what we have to deal with next. So the great thing about challenge is that we can come right back to where we left off. So we'll come back to a down dog position. On the next breath, we'll go ahead and lift that left leg up to the sky, flexing the left foot so hard that you're going to put a footprint on the back wall, squaring those hips, squaring the shoulders. And on the next breath, we'll go ahead and lunge it through. Stay on the ball of your right foot. Look down and that your left knee is in line with the left ankle. And slowly rise up. Bringing the arms up. Or you can bring the hands down to center. I know for me, the left side is a lot more difficult to balance than my right. I have a lot of knee, foot, and hip issues on my left side. So I know when I've gone to the PT, he'll say, well, which is your bad knee or which is your bad hip? And so we had a little discussion. And I said, actually, it's not my bad knee or my bad hip because body has language. It hears what you say. Even though it's cheesy, it hears what you say. And self-fulfilling prophecy, right? It starts to adapt to what you're telling it. So I said, my left hip and my left knee just need a little bit more attention. They need a little bit more nurture than the right. So instead of saying, why isn't this acting like the right? Or why isn't it doing as much as my right can? Why not just embrace it and say, it just needs a little bit more attention, and I'm going to give it to it. Flexing that right glute. And on the next breath, we'll bring the left arm back, right arm forward. And again, what's stopping you from putting the right knee down? I feel the energy has changed in this room because we had that moment to rest. So moments of rest are important. Self-care is important. And so right now, I feel the energy in the room that we're able to now get back into it and really give it all we got. So again, hips, the pattern. Got to move that pattern over. And I feel it now, right? That's because patterns are difficult to change. On the next breath, we'll bring the right arm up to the sky and over. All the while keeping the left knee bent right over the ankle, flexing the right glute, opening the chest up to the sky. And if you're thinking anything right now, like what did I get myself into? Why did I even come to class? Then we got to make it harder. Because if you're thinking anything, that's when the mind is not in the power or the present moment. So let's go ahead and come back to center, and then exhale, bring the right hand down, left hand up to the sky. And then all the while you're placing that left hand down, again, we talk about the solar plexus, right? Self-esteem, power, and identity. How much of you are activating this whole power in a balanced way, or minimizing the power, too much if you have it. How much are you activating it or minimizing it? So right now, maybe if your breath allows you to, lift up the right hand, come onto the little fingertips there, if the breath allows. And all of a sudden, you feel that activation in your solar plexus. We have an energy point there that's being balanced. Throughout our life, we have imbalances in our energy points. And yoga practice allows us to balance them together. And on the next breath, we know what's to come, right? Looking down with at the right hand, placing weight into the knuckles, and then slowly lift the left up and come back. Great modification is putting your right knee down. Look down and see that your right wrist is right underneath the shoulder. Your hips are going up to the sky. And what's stopping you from taking a modification? If this is comfortable for you and your breath is fluid, and only if it's fluid, you can raise the left leg up, flexing the left foot, and bring the left arm over. And breathe. Every time you breathe, it'll get you through it. And one more breath. Every time, maybe two more breaths. Every time you go through a challenge, it will not make it go away when you breathe. It will make it manageable to get through. Physical pain or emotional pain. Pain is pain. On the next breath, we get to, come on down. Left hand onto the mat. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, descend down 90 degrees. Inhale, swim the heart forward. And breathe. Curl the toes. Inhale. Tailbone high to the sky on the exhale. and then walk it out. Go ahead and jump or step to the front of the mat. Inhale, arms out and up. And exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway up for space. Exhale, plant the hands down and jump or step back. This time when we inhale forward, we're gonna come to a push-up position, and you can bring your knees down if your breath wants you to. This time I'm not gonna count. I'm not gonna tell you when to end. I'm gonna let your breath guide you. So on the inhale, shift forward, and on the exhale, descend down 90 degrees. And breathe. Now sometimes I might tell you what to do, the world might tell you what to do, somebody out there's telling you what to do. Do you listen to your breath? And then come up. Learning to listen to your intuition. Learning to not follow every single time you need to do something, but learning when you need to come down and when you need to self-care. Great pose right when I said that. So let's go ahead and self-care. What is self-care, right? Self-care is a lot of times what people do. How often do you tell yourself, on my little pie chart of percentages, I need to do family, school, work, all the things that we allocate to in here. How much is self-care? Probably this much, right? And how much of us have a belief that we have guilty feelings for this self-care? However, if we don't engage in self-care, we won't have fuel. And it was very evident here that when we got self-care, we were able to be stronger and more flexible right after. So however it works for you, self-care could mean diaphragmic breath in the car ride, while you're eating, in the shower, times that you are already by yourself, doing nothing else. You can incorporate little by little. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. With that said, let's go ahead and come on up. We'll place the hands in front of us. Inhale, curl the toes, tailbone high to the sky. And this time we'll go ahead and crouch, and this time when we jump, we're gonna just land on our bum. And place the feet in front of us. Take a deep inhale, lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, we're gonna slowly hug the knees into the chest and roll back. Rock from side to side, massaging out the spine. And again, it sounds a little cheesy, but right now you acknowledge that you're hugging into yourself. It starts with you. We have a relationship with lots of other people in this world. However, have you thought about how much you invest into a relationship with yourself? It has to be done because it starts with you. As you hug right now your knees into your chest, acknowledging that if you cultivate positive energy within you, you will see positives in others, and you will see positives in things and experiences. If you cultivate negative energy within you, then you will find negatives in others, and you will find negatives in experiences, because there's always something to find. So it starts with you, hugging the knees into your chest, acknowledging here, you are responsible for the energy you put into this place. So be mindful of it. It's not just you that gets affected by this energy. It's everyone around you, within you, around you, and above you. So take responsibility. On the next breath, we'll go ahead and bring the right knee into the chest, left leg out, taking a deep inhale. And on the exhale, bring the right knee over to the left side and allowing your right arm to extend out. Here, again, acknowledging the twists and turns that you do in life, the stability on this ground. It doesn't have to be the ground, really. It's just acknowledgement that earthly things, earthly belongings, earthly people will not save you. They will support you. Let them support you. But the reliance that they will save you, you will only get disappointed. So on the inhale, almost try to place your shoulder on the right side, place it onto the ground. We care more about the shoulder being on the ground than the right knee trying to come over. We care more about grounding ourselves than trying to get somewhere, right? We're not trying to get anywhere. That's probably the hardest concept that I have myself understood and interact with others to try to understand. It is just about being. Take another inhale. And on the exhale, go ahead and come back to center, hugging both knees into the chest. Acknowledging here again, you may twist and turn and have lots of experiences, but you come back to your relationship with yourself. Don't forget that piece. And then go ahead and extend the right knee out, left knee hugging it in, and come to the other side. And then you know what to do. Taking deep breaths here, acknowledging that your left shoulder's on the floor. Again, not trying to get somewhere, trying to be here in this moment only. And breathe. And then come back to center, hugging both knees into the chest, giving yourself that one last little hug of acknowledgement. And then slowly descend your legs and your arms down to the floor. No controlling over how they land. We control a lot of things on this earth, but let go. And however they land, they land. And you're in resting pose. Take a deep inhale here. And on the exhale, acknowledge how many thoughts are coming into your mind now. Now that you're at rest, you might have a whole lot of thoughts coming and flooding into your mind. That's why this pose is probably the most difficult one there is. So, just like when we were doing the moving meditation, it was a lot more easy to focus and concentrate in the moment. Right now, we work on concentrating in the moment at rest. Meditation is not the act of emptying your thoughts, because emptiness is still something. It's a very existential kind of theory. However, it's the idea of acknowledging it, observing it, understanding it, and then on the exhale, attach it like a little paper clip and send it away. Even if it's not gone, imagine it happening. That's, again, the power of visualizations. Each time you breathe in a thought, and you exhale it, you're practicing that impermanence. We are not responsible for the thoughts that enter our mind. We are responsible for the ones that we hold. So we might think to ourselves, how come I'm thinking this again? Or how come this is bothering me again? It's okay. Surrender to it. It matters if you hold on to it and then just work to let it go. Set it free. It's easier said than done, and that's why we do this. So on the next breath, we'll come back to the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference today, in this moment only. We did a great job today, learning how to do just that, listening to the body, listening to the breath, when the breath guided you to take a modification or come completely down, and then listening to the breath to take you a little bit further and take those risks. That right there is the wisdom to know the difference. And we practice it every moment of every day. And on the next breath, we'll acknowledge this ending pose, the end to everything, the end to relationships, to end to jobs, the end to the moments, the end to this yoga practice, the ends. And then we acknowledge on the next breath, curling over to the right or left side, whichever you choose, into fetal position. And we acknowledge here the rebirth, that everything has an ending, just like the song. Every ending has a new beginning. New poses to breathe through, new postures to breathe through, new challenges to breathe through, new great times to breathe through. The more we can surrender to acknowledging the ends and going straight into the beginnings, the less we'll suffer. And so each moment, we work on it. With that said, go ahead and come up, rise up, back to seated position. Taking a deep inhale, and wherever we started, Life is not about cycles, kind of like, oh, I've taken steps backwards, or I've gone back to where I started. It's spirals. We came here, yet we're different people. Tailbone firmly on the ground, crown of the head up to the sky, breathing in so deeply. A spiral. We are different every cycle, even if we look the same. So on the inhale, raising the arms out and up, maybe turning the pinkies up to the sky. If at all you get tired, you can bring your hands down to the knees. We cannot control the conflicts and the challenges in this world. We can control how we think and we feel about them. So right now, let's breathe in empathy, compassion, and forgiveness to ourselves. And on the next breath, we'll breathe out empathy, compassion, and forgiveness to all those around us, to those that we love and those that we do not. Because it's not for us to keep. Nothing in this world is for ours to keep. Do it for yourself so you can do it for all the others. Bringing your hands, palms down to the head, the mind. We spend a lot of time here. We spend a lot of time having the thoughts take power over us. They hijack us from this beautiful moment. And even if it's not beautiful, it's still the reality of this moment. Our mind, our thoughts take over sometimes. So let's not let it do that. One man said to another, "You're out of your mind." And he said, "Well, thank you. It took me a long time to get there." So we practice every moment. Bringing the hands to the heart center. Whatever you learn today on this mat, remember it's a microcosm of your world. Breathing, changing patterns, flexing that glute, whatever works for you here will work out there. So take what you learn off this mat and into your world. It's up to you to do it. From my heart to yours, thank you very much for your practice today. And a huge thank you to my beautiful demos beside me. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.